We are coming to you live via Facebook streaming, YouTube streaming, and via Skype. Each one of you is welcome to this live streaming from our studios in Trinidad. Sutras of Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, sex and death, both are basic. A really religious person or religious seeker enters both. He experiences sex to know what it is, because to know sex is to know life. Life begins with that. And he would also know what death is, because unless you know death, you cannot know the life eternal. If you can enter sex and reach to the very center, you will know what life is. And if you can enter into death voluntarily to its very center, then in that moment you will touch the center of death and you become eternal. Then for the first time you experience the immortal within you, because death is something that happens just on the periphery, not to the center. I will go into certain things first before I continue with this. When a person sits silently through technology, or more so through Kirlian's photography, now Kirlian's cameras are also available, we can see his aura. When you are in a very healthy state, the electromagnetic waves create a very smooth aura around you. And when you are in a disturbed state, the same electromagnetic waves create a disturbed aura. This much science has known. Now going one step further, when you sit in meditation, science has discovered the aura around you becomes smooth and it shapes like a parabola, a geometrical figure. The aura becomes parabolic. When a person is in deep meditation, his aura is exactly like the dome shaped of Shivalingam. Also, when you are meditatively in sex act and in the state of valley orgasm, your aura is dome shaped like Shivalingam. With your physical eyes you cannot see it. If you look at the shape of the nuclear reactor, it is dome shaped. There is a reason behind it. When dome shape is a part of a circle, and in that the energy does not escape, is not lost. Shiva is the symbol of meditation. It is only Shiva who is depicted with the third eye. No one in the entire history. This center symbolizes awakening, knowing, and awareness. And when his third eye opens, Kamdev, the god of love, sex, lust, desire, burns into ashes or vanishes. The moment Shiva opens his third eye, it happens. Also, when your third eye is activated or developed, all desires, lust and sex vanish. Entire research is on this third eye center. The moment this center is active, all conflicts and duality vanish, as if the dust from the surface of the mirror is removed and you can see clearly. There is a tradition of placing a mark of sandalwood paste on the forehead at that point of male and female. When you sit in meditation with eyes closed and you reach deep within, this third eye center is activated. Opening of this center is the end of duality and beginning of life of bliss. As the center opens, new awareness of knowing too opens. Only reaching this opening you can envision truth. If you draw a straight line on the earth, surface of the earth, it looks a straight line. Really, is it a straight line? No, it is not. Instead, it is the arc of the circle of earth's radius. It is the arc of the circle of earth's radius. This you can see only when you go in outer space away from the earth. All that we see as the symbol, science has proved it. I will explain to you the studies of American cosmologist Carl Sagan, what he said. He is the astronomer, quantum physics is his field. Besides that, there are others also in Vienna in Switzerland. They center the highest lab called CERN. You see the matted hair, the snake around his neck and flowing until the waist, half moon on the forehead, the Ganges water locked in his hair, open hair. Indeed, these represents various stages of meditation. You think meditation is concentration or focusing on something. It is beyond that. When you are in the state of meditation, you undergo various stages, and each state that you go through is really the symbol that is depicted in the image of Shiva. Carl Sagan, the American cosmologist, says, now the science is coming to the conclusion that if a Hindu religious person says, we consider it, we disregard it as baseless. But when the same thing is said by the science, we are forced to understand. Carl Sagan says, now the science is coming to the conclusion that the perpetual creation and destruction of the universe is like cosmic dance of Shiva. Go, if you have an interest, go and read Carl Sagan. Many of you, I don't know, I am a little bit crazy in my own search because even at this stage I explore and read every day, read, write and share. After corona test, if you have looked at the report, no, we asked the technician what does the report say. If you look at the report, there is a number on each report, a number. And this number is different on each report. The test report, when it comes from the lab, it has a number on it. And the number on the two reports is not same, it's different. You think it is a taboo? If it was a Hindu religion, it would have been said that. The number of each report, number on the each report differs from the other. And this number is not a symbol of something. Instead, the number represents all that has happened within your body. It is from the number that the technician knows the state within all that has happened within you. What really happens. Without realizing truth, we are giving our own interpretations to many things like Shiva's symbol. Really, the shape of the symbol as depicted was conceived thousands of years ago by awakened ones in their state of meditation. Energy is released from the ends of the nodes. That is the reason when you are angry, you shake your hand or shake your feet and you feel relaxed. When it is dome shaped or it is a circle, the energy does not escape. That is why all the psycho centers, the energy moves in a circle. And when it is moving in a circle and it gains momentum, it comes out from there and moves to the another. When a spacecraft is going into the outer space, it is guided by the gravitational force of the earth. When it reaches the threshold where it has to cross the earth's gravitational force and enter into another gravitational force, it needs tremendous energy. That is what was conceived by the eternal scientists through the study of chakras. When you are in a state of deep meditation, it was discovered. Now science has come to confirm this. If you look at the shape of a nuclear reactor, it is dome shaped like Shiva's symbol. Shape is necessary to conserve the energy, and also it helps in regenerating the energy because energy is released through radiation, convection and condensation. So In this case, radiation or convection. That's why, based on that technology, we have three types of heat transfers: radiation, convection, and the other, when the water particles, when you put the water to boil, the water particles start moving. As they get hot, they start moving upwards. This is one type of transfer of energy. The second is radiation. The third is convection. Based on that, we have a new age technology, new age ovens. This shape is necessary to conserve, and when you are sitting in meditation, the energy is not released, or when you are in act of sex, instead of a square or rectangle, you are a circle, then the energy is conserved. Both partners, they become generators of energy. They revitalize one another. So too, this circle shape of tantric sex, when you have peak valley orgasm, preserves the energy from escaping and also helps in regenerating. Energy escapes from open ends. So too, the position of meditation is a circle. Now, coming back to little more into it, science, you cannot subtract 4 from 3, or you cannot write 3 minus 4. 4 minus 3 is accepted, but 3 minus 4 is considered absurd. But if you ask a nuclear scientist, he will tell you the reason for it. Because what happens in that state is not conceived by the human mind. He will explain its significance. You look at the sky. The sky looks blue. Is it really blue? It simply appears to be blue, but it is not blue. So what appears really is not what it is. But we go more with what we see. There is an American poet, Black. He wrote a poem while he was sitting, and he saw a row of white birds flying through the sky. He said it is not a mere the birds, but to him it appeared as if energy is moving through the sky. And he has a beautiful poem written, Go Into Black, the American poet. So too, it is erroneous to condemn or interpret something without knowing. Whatever I am writing is nothing else but alphabets. Alphabet, A, B, C, D. An ignorant one can interpret it as mere alphabet. Like if you have not known the periodic table, the 4 letters NaCl will sound to an ignorant person absurd. What kind of nonsense is this? NaCl? It should be necklace, because he knows necklace, or something else. But this 4 letters NaCl can only be understood by the one who understands the periodic table or who knows the chemistry. Na is sodium, Cl is chloride. The balance sheet also differs. Then we say H2O because oxygen has a 2 balance sheet and hydrogen has 1. So that's why it is H2O. But to an ignorant person who is a hasty concluder, H2O means nothing. NaCl means nothing. Or same way, the words that you write, they are different permutation and combination of letters. And when these letters are put together as a combination, it gives a meaning. That meaning can only be understood by one who understands that language. But the others will not understand that. Similar is the case with symbols. We have to be very particular in making our comments or interpretations. So you can see that the difference. When I say TWO, 3 letters, if you put it, change the sequence of it, the meaning is lost. If you write WTO, it carries a different meaning. When you write OTW, it changes the meaning. It may not convey any meaning. It is only when it is written in this particular sequence, TWO, then you understand. NaCl is the same thing. Only a particular kind of intelligence will understand what NaCl means. Remember that there are 2 things, a center and a periphery. Death happens on the periphery, but center remains unaffected. You can take the center, and from the center you can draw infinite peripheries. When you draw another periphery, that the one that you have done before becomes redundant or it vanishes. Sex and death are both basic for a seeker. For the ordinary humanity, both are taboos and we do not talk about those things. No one talks about them, and both are basic and deeply related to one another. And not only that, they are deeply related to you. They are so deeply related that even upon entering sex, in a way you enter a certain kind of death, because you are dying. What is you? You are ego. Ego is disappearing. You are an embodiment of time because you live in time. Time is disappearing. You are an individual. Individuality is disappearing. So your ego is dying in that moment. Time is disappearing in that moment. And individuality too is disappearing in that moment. You are dying. Sex is also a subtle death. And if you can know that sex is a subtle death, that death can become a sexual orgasm for you. Socrates was entering into death and he was not afraid. It is said that time it was a different kind of process, and the temple of Delphi where Socrates lived, he was ordered to be poisoned to death. So they were preparing the poison, grinding it. He came out, he said, "Why are you taking so long to do it?" And everyone was surprised, and we are afraid of death. And Socrates is entering into death, fearless. Rather, he was very much enthusiastic, thrilled, excited to know what death is. Because in death, what happens? The periphery dies. If that is why I said, if you can consciously enter into death, you will know death happens only to the periphery, the body, not to the center, the being. And there can be no better way to understand, to know this, except sex. Sex and death are both related, deeply related to one another. If you go deeply and correctly into the act of sex, you can experience certain dimensions of death. Even if you have known those certain dimensions of death, your life will transform. Also in that state, we are afraid of going into sex. Really we are afraid, but we show that we are courageous, but we are afraid. And if you enter into fearlessly, joyfully, knowingly, you will experience a moment of ego disappearing. And if you can remain in the valley orgasm, nourishing and nurturing each other, then this state of egolessness, the state of timelessness will extend, and slowly it will become part of your being, part of your life, part of your living. That is when the transformation happens. That is when transformation happens. Ego disappears, time disappears, individuality disappears. What is your identity? My identity is I am American, I am a man, I am a Muslim, I am a Hindu. These are not your identities, these are limited identities. Your greater identity is I am a human, I am cosmic. And that is the reason in India, when the education system is to begin, that is known as one of the 16th rituals that has to be performed in the life of an individual, is known as Vidyarambha Sanskar. Means the process. Sanskar means a certain kind of a process that has to begin before you enter into education system. So too, in the present day world, when you are entering the university education or in a particular discipline, be it engineering, be it medical, you have to go through a process. You can call it sanskar in that Hindi terminology. If there is an entrance examination, you have to enter into that examination. After that, when the result is declared, based on your merit list, you are placed in that university or anything there. After you are ready to enter the university, you present your marks, the mark sheet or whatsoever it is. Based on that, certain points are given. There would have been certain criteria that each university follows, and you are aspiring to enter nuclear engineering, but you are told that you cannot enter into, you have to go into civil engineering, because when all the merit lists are compiled together, you are at the lower, or that is how it goes on, the system. So when a person, the child, is entering into the education system, he is first asked that what is his identity. Is his identity is that the limited identity or narrow identity or cosmic identity? A man with limited identity will be a danger to the society. A man with cosmic identity will never be a danger to the society. A master is a cosmic identity. He is not bound by time and space. For certain reasons, because when you enter into a country, you are to present your passport, your visa. So passport will have your name, your religion, and all these things are there. But that is for a specific purpose, but really he does not have any individuality. When you ask someone, what is your name? My name is Dr. So-and-so. This is individuality. Your name, sometimes in certain traditions, the name is long, the surname. Then in certain cases we have the name Junior, like one of the American president. The father was the president and then son became the president from Republican Party. Their names were same, but they are identified as junior or senior. So the first name really identifies you. The second name is your surname. In certain, the other suffix and prefix are also added to the name. And then your degrees that you attain to. Now, what I have also observed, like when you obtain a degree in medical science, you are known as doctor. And in case a person is surgeon, he is not known as doctor, he is known as Mr. There is a reason behind it. And I have observed that people who have have an engineering degree, they started writing before their name as prefix ER, not just as DR, ER. So these are all individualities. When you enter into sex correctly, rightly, with an understanding, ego disappears, time disappears, individuality disappears. In a way, certain aspects of your life dissolve. If this process continues like that, ultimately the ego will vanish, the time will vanish, individuality will vanish, and your life will be life of bliss, beyond conflict. This is life beyond conflict, life of bliss. Consciously this title was chosen for the current work, which should appear soon. But that time when the topic was chosen, why this topic? Beyond conflict, life of bliss. It sounds nice. But how? What is the process to attain to it? Told you about Socrates, because if you have known the small death through sex, you have known the bliss that follows it. Sex is going beyond conflict, the duality of male and female, and it is also a death. If you have known the small death through sex, you have known the bliss that follows it, you would like to know the greater death as well, the greater bliss as well, that is hidden behind the greater death. But for us, for humanity, both sex and death are taboos. For Tantra, both are basic dimensions for research. One has to go through them. The ancient eternal scientists were not fools. They have chosen the words that carry the entire meaning, the essence of it. There are 3 words: Tantra, Mantra, Yantra. Have you ever pondered what is the meaning of these words? You are attracted to Tantra for certain reasons. Tantra comes from the 2 words Tan and Tra. Tra means transcendence. Tan means body. So Tantra really is transcendence beyond body and all that relates to the body. Ego relates to mind. Time relates to mind. Individuality relates to the mind. But the desire, certain things relate to Tantra. So Tantra means using the body, because it is the body that is used in sex. Through the body you are attaining the state of transcendence, going beyond the body consciousness is Tantra. And mantra comes from the 2 words Man and Tra. Man means mind. Mind is dualistic. Mind is ego. Mind is time. Mind is individuality. Going beyond that. That is why mantra is used. But we are all holding our mantra as zikr, this and that and so, but we have not transcended. When you take the medicine, doctor prescribes you medicine, do you keep that medicine for lifelong? Or do you keep the prescription or the packet of the medicine or the box of the medicine after it is consumed? It is there for a specific purpose, to get rid of certain ailments that is causing problem in your body. Mantra is that medicine which is needed to go beyond the mind. Not that you hold on lifelong, but each one of us, neither the master has the capability to tell you, nor the students ever ask that question. How long do I have to take? You ask the doctor, how long I have to take this medicine? He prescribes the antibiotics courses 10 days. You have to take 10 days. Because after that the effectiveness of the antibiotic loses its effect. The third in that sequence is yantra. Yantra. Yan means a geometrical figure, a geometrical shape. Everybody uses that in one way or the other. And out of that ritualistic worship begins. So yantra is to go beyond that, but lifelong we remain in that. We use the symbol of Lakshmi to do this puja. We have to face in a particular direction to do our prayers. Is it not a ritual that we follow lifelong from childhood till we enter into, and we have never gone beyond that? What else is the yantra? For doing a particular thing, a ritual, you have to put on a particular kind of a garb and a particular kind of attire. No matter how many times you go for pilgrimage, you have to follow the same thing. So you have never gone beyond that. If you have gone beyond that, after that there is no need to do the same ritual again. But we keep on doing it lifelong and remain lost into tantra, yantra, mantra. Everyone has their own taboos. The Christians hanging the symbol of cross or Jesus or Mary around their neck. And they consider Hindus they use the rituals. Everyone follows that. Muslims offer prayer facing a particular direction. Why it is there? Have you ever wondered? You see sun rises in the east. If it is God is omnipresent, omnipotent and omniscient, is it only in this particular direction? You have ever asked this question, why we have to pray in this particular direction? The energy moves from North Pole to South Pole, and that's where the magnetic field forms. It's scientifically proved. So when we are sleeping, when we are keeping from North Pole to South Pole, but that time so much energy is generated that your body will be incapable to absorb that energy. So that's why. And besides that, the sun rises in the east. So when you are sleeping, your head should be in this eastern direction, not north-south. And when you are facing, because the energy is moving from north to south, and if you are facing the southern direction, the energy is depleted from your body. Experiment it. Sleep in that direction, because you are not capable of that. That is why Hindus, when the person dies, he is faced in that direction. The body is placed into north-south direction, so that whatever energy has remained from releasing is released in that position. Because the death means the energy is not generating. The connection with the North Pole is lost. So remainder of the energy is to be released. So when we are meditating, we sit facing the north, but that means the energy is not in any other direction. In the beginning it becomes, after that all direction becomes irrelevant for you. You form a circle. Does circle have any direction? A triangle has a direction. Triangle can face north, south. Its peak can face north, south, east or west. But a circle does not face any direction. It is a circle. When you have become that, you are not bound by it. You are beyond all dualities. You are beyond mantra, you are beyond tantra, you are beyond yantra. No ritual is needed, no mantra, no chanting, nothing is needed. But we remain engaged lifelong We never ask the master, Master, how long do I have? Because the mantra is not or zikr that is given to you is not considered as a medicine. But you ask the doctor, Doctor, how long do I have to take this medicine? Or how many injections do I have to take? There is also a reason when you take the neurobion injections for energy into you, it is only a certain amount of injections to be given in a continuation. After that, there has to be a gap. Every medicine has its limitations, how long you have to take and how much you can take. Whether it is Panadol, whether it is analgesic or antibiotic, it must be taken for a certain period of time before it starts affecting adversely to your health. That which is beneficial to you is poisonous also when it is taken beyond certain limits. So too is the case with mantras, zikr and all that. You become so much addicted to it like an alcoholic. You become addicted with your zikr. You cannot forgive it. You cannot leave it. Just as you have to leave the medicine after its course is finished, you have to attain to that state. Because you are not taking medicine regularly, or doctor has prescribed you 3 doses for the day, or morning and evening. You skip today, you skip tomorrow. There are certain zikrs. If you change your position, like you are sitting on this particular spot here, and you move from here to there, you have to extend the number of days. If you skip 1 dose of medicine today, so instead of 10, it will be 10 and a half day. So all these things are important to understand. Now, we come to the end of this session and continue in tomorrow's session, another session when we talk about other thing, take you in another way through this journey. Until then, take care and do have a pleasant day.